He built an empire from nothing. He turned a record label into a cultural machine. He gave us hits, headlines, and $1 million smile. He went by many names. Puff Puffy Puff Daddy P Diddy Diddy Love. But behind the music and the money, behind the brand, there was always a question. Who is Sean Combs, really? Because while the world danced to his tracks and watched him command stages, a very different narrative was taking shape. One hidden behind NDAs, hotel suites, luxury jets, and locked doors. Now the veil is lifting. The man once known as Puff Daddy is under federal investigation, accused of running an enterprise of abuse, intimidation, and power. This is the real story, not just about where the name came from, but what it may have always meant. Sean John Combs was born in Harlem in 1969. By the early 90s, he had become a force in the music world, not yet famous, but already making power moves. At Uptown Records, he proved he had an ear for hits and an instinct for image. He launched the careers of Jodeci and Mary J. Blige. And then, after being fired from Uptown, he started Bad Boy Records, but the name Puff Daddy, that came earlier. Friends said he earned it because of his attitude. He'd huff and puff when he was angry. It stuck, it fit, the name became a brand, a personality larger than life. Puff Daddy was polished, loud, untouchable. The kind of man who'd show up at the club in fur coats, white suits, and diamonds. He wasn't just rich. He made being rich look like a lifestyle you could worship. And millions did. By the mid-90s, Puff Daddy was a household name. Bad Boy Records became one of the most influential labels in hip-hop. He produced hits for the notorious Big, Faith Evans, and 112. And after Biggie's death in 1997, Puff Daddy released I'll Be Missing You, which became a global anthem of grief and remembrance. But Sean Combs wasn't just a producer. He was a businessman. He launched clothing lines, vodka brands, and reality shows. He threw iconic parties, he mentored artists, he turned himself into a billionaire brand. To the public, he was a mogul. To the industry, he was a gatekeeper, and to aspiring artists, he was the dream. But behind that dream, whispers had already begun. Over the years, artists who once stood in Diddy's orbit began to drift or speak. Some claimed his contracts were predatory. Others said he controlled more than music, that he controlled their lives. Rumors swirled about NDAs, about parties where power dynamics shifted suddenly, about relationships that blurred the line between mentor and manipulator. People said it was just industry talk, that all stars have egos, that every empire has enemies. But the stories didn't stop, and then, in 2023, the silence cracked. In November 2023, artist and ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura filed a lawsuit accusing Sean Combs of years of abuse, trafficking, and coercion. The allegations were explosive. She claimed Combs drugged her, trafficked her across state lines, forced her into acts for his benefit, and used security to monitor and intimidate her. The suit described a pattern of control, surveillance, isolation. It also alleged he paid off witnesses, destroyed evidence, and used his influence to avoid scrutiny. Within 24 hours, the lawsuit was settled. That didn't silence the storm, it lit a fire. More lawsuits followed. More women and men came forward with stories of alleged abuse, grooming, coercion, and threats. The Department of Homeland Security launched a federal investigation. Search warrants were issued, private jets were raided, hard drives were seized. The man once seen as untouchable was now surrounded. Because this story is still unfolding, and the allegations are legally sensitive, we'll be careful with how we describe them. But here's what multiple lawsuits have painted: a network of handlers, employees, and enablers. Private events where alcohol and substances were allegedly used to break down boundaries. A pattern of isolation, control, and fear. Surveillance of partners, including alleged GPS tracking. Payments made to keep people quiet. And perhaps most disturbing, accusations that this wasn't just individual abuse, but a system. So what does any of this have to do with Puff Daddy? It's not just a nickname, it was an identity. A version of Sean Combs created to dazzle the world, but, what if it was also a mask? The loud, shiny, untouchable mogul who could hide anything in plain sight. Who could reinvent himself whenever heat got close. From Puff Daddy to P. Diddy, to Diddy to Love. Each name was a rebirth, each one a clean slate, and yet, the patterns didn't change. People kept leaving quietly, kept whispering, kept warning. In a rare 2016 interview, Combs joked about his name changes. Puff Daddy is the guy you don't want to owe money to, he laughed. Diddy is more chill. But what if none of them were chill? What if they were all different masks for the same man? The music industry is built on power, and Sean Combs had more of it than almost anyone. He launched careers. He controlled stages. He could change lives or crush them. So when people say, why didn't anyone speak up sooner? The answer is simple: fear. Fear of being blacklisted, fear of lawsuits, fear of armed bodyguards, fear of being labeled a liar. And in that silence, the machine kept running. The clubs stayed packed, the money flowed. The name Puff Daddy remained iconic. But if the allegations are true, it was all built on broken lives. As of now, Sean Combs has not been criminally charged, but he is the subject of a federal investigation involving multiple agencies. He has denied all wrongdoing. His lawyers claim the lawsuits are money grabs, that he's being targeted because of fame and fortune. But the evidence is stacking. Witnesses, security footage, devices, documents. And with each new story that emerges, the question gets louder. How long has this been happening? Whether or not Combs is charged, one thing is certain. The shine is gone. The aura that once made him bulletproof, musically, culturally, financially, is fading. Young artists who once idolized him now question what was real. Former friends and associates are distancing themselves. Brands are backing away, and the man who once redefined cool is now being redefined by headlines. From Harlem prodigy to music mogul to alleged predator, it's a fall unlike any we've seen in hip-hop history. So yes, Puff Daddy was a nickname. It started as a joke about temper. It became a brand, a symbol of swagger, success, and hustle. But maybe it was always something darker, a warning, a glimpse of the man behind the mirror. Because in the end, we all wear masks, but some are harder to take off, and some aren't masks at all. Thank you for watching. Subscribe for more psychological true crime documentaries, where truth hides behind fame and stories reveal what headlines won't. Stay sharp, stay aware, and remember, power protects itself until it doesn't.